I've said a lot about the kid, but he ain't the only one wrapped up in all this. What's he thinking? Well, let me see if I got this straight. I only heard it once. Once there was a normal Ura girl, but she wasn't born in the Tassel terminals like the rest of her people. She was from Celandia. Her folks were orphaned in the war, taken in and raised inside the city, on condition they would never return to the terminals. Ura refugees who came into the city had to stay for life. It was a way to reduce the risk of city secrets leaking out. Her mama passed away from birthing complications, leaving the girl trapped inside that city with no one but her father. Her father was sharper than a brusher's pike, so he got a job working for the city's mancers. His daughter barely saw him. Her father told her nothing of her Ura heritage. He told her nothing of the Mancers. It's for your own good, he said. She took to studying the arts, learned more through music than history books. Gain a knack for strings and songs. At first, she tried to be like other girls, but her classmates spread word that her father was an Ura trader, selling out the city. One young man stood up for her, or so he led her to believe. He knew much of her heritage, and she grew fond of him. Convinced her to take him to her family den to meet her father. Spoke of how he wanted to meet a man from the terminals. When the young man greeted her father in the Ura's native language, her father flew into a fit of rage and threw them out. The young man never told her that so is a terrible insult. It was then that she decided to escape. The two of them could flee the city together and go to the Tassel terminals. They would hide inside a garbage bin until it got ingested by a scumbag, then let him slosh on out of the city for disposal. Train of thought there. Almost succeeded, but the authorities were already there when that scumbag sidled up to the city walls. young man had sent the authorities a tip. Told him her father was using her to sell secrets to the Tassel terminals.
I dig my hole, you build a wall. I dig my hole, you build a wall.
She and her father were arrested for treason, but her father got a deal. Returned to work for the Mansers, and she'd go free.
Build that city on a hill. Gonna build that city on a hill. Someday those tears are gonna spill. So build that wall and build it strong, 'cause we'll
Before they parted ways for the last time, her father whispered a desperate plea. Hurry home to the den and lock yourself in.
build that wall up to the sky. The sky. Someday your bird is gonna fly. Gonna build that wall until it's done. Gonna build that wall until it's done. But now you got nowhere to run. So build that wall and build it strong, 'cause we'll be there before too.
She did as she was told, and deep down underground inside that den, she found a journal written in her father's hand.
I dig my hole, you build a wall. I dig my hole, you build a wall. One day that wall is gonna fall. Gonna build that city on a hill.
The next day, the door to the den turned to ash. The girl came up for air, and she saw the calamity all around her. When the kid wakes up, his world's still in pieces, just the way he left it. If you're feeling low, count on the buttery flavor of our own Bastion bourbon. The conscience. We haven't lost everything, as long as we have that. A pike and a galley and a mortar. Now that's some terror from the high seas. That mortar's gonna leave a lasting impression. Don't want that thing leaving your hands until you decide it's time. Gotta make sure the pointy end's fastened on real tight. suppose it's true a little song can put things in perspective. Just a couple shards left. The quarry's gotta have one, right? Imagine everything you'd need to build a city like Caelondia. It takes hard work and planning, and it also takes a burstone quarry. The Ura tunnels beneath the quarry must have softened the blow from the calamity. Same goes for its natives, rattletails. Why would the Ura put up with those pests? Rattletails ain't the worst of it either, but more about that in a little bit. The quarry came with a lifetime supply of windbags. Windbags smaller than the naked eye can see are nesting in those rocks. Not only are these rocks a source of life, we found that the oldest ones remember things. The quarry's secrets ain't exactly obvious. They're recording everything, all the time, taking it all in. No wonder all those beasts were drawn to the quarry. The rocks were calling them. Keeping the quarry free from pests turned out to be a problem. Windbags tended to the rocks, so we had to keep the rattletails at bay. Rattletails kept tunneling in to snack on windbags. Without those windbags, the quarry might not have its special qualities. The quarry ain't exactly up to safety standards no more. Now, why would the Ura sell off such a fascinating place? The Ura always were a superstitious lot. Might be the gods told him the quarry's bad news. On top of that, you know the Ura hated anything above ground. Might be the quarry just got too much sunshine for their liking. In any case, it's fair to say the quarry was a godsend. Those rocks, all polished to a mirror sheen. The largest ones, you know as cores. A single core could keep the lights on in an entire city district. The smaller ones, we call them shards. The shard's got a fraction of a core's power, enough to fuel a voyage to the motherland. Well, now the quarry's all dried up. These rocks are much too young to be of use. Remember how I said rattletails ain't the worst thing in the quarry? That honor goes to a beast we took to calling Sir Lunky. massive thing stomped many of our boys. We just couldn't get rid of him. The only thing harder than the rocks in Bastion glory is Sir Monkey's head. His big fat rump's plenty tough too, but so is the kid. Get stubborn old monkey to leave the quarry alone. Then the kid hears a voice calling from down the hall. "Are you all right?" it says. It's him. "I've come to warn you," he says. "The Bastion is under siege. Let it fall. You should not go back." Kid hears him, but he ain't about to be deterred. "If that's the way it is," he says, "then I won't stop you." Because my countrymen will. Say what you will about Zulf, but he's a man of his word. His countrymen don't much care for pleasantries, though. Too bad for that. Zulf showed him the way here, and here they came to take revenge. They got inside the Bastion and shut the door. Kid's gotta go in through the back. I should have told him sooner about all this. See, the Bastion's no mere safe haven. Big surprise, right? To make matters worse, seems the Ura took the girl. Unfortunately, they broke in and they started digging their holes. Something wrong sprung out of those holes, and it's eating away in this place. We tried to stop them, but we needed help. Our baby pecker, he don't make it. Somehow, some way, he sends those Ura packing. Problem is, it didn't matter. Zulf's plan worked. We find each other as the dust settles. Then I tell him why the Ura came. To get us back for the calamity. It was Caelandia's master plan to wipe the Ura out. But part of that plan backfired, didn't it? If only Zulf knew the whole story. What were we to think? They must have got her, taken her back to her rightful home. The shards can put this disease in remission, but there's only one cure. We need to finish what we started. Seems the gods recommended this place to all their friends. Now all we need is one last shard. Taught him an old trick from a galleon gunner I once knew. At least it won't get cold round here with that thing around. On the inside, a fire bellows ain't nothing like its more popular air-spitting cousin. That's the way to make every shot count. Even the army never issued carbines in such fine shape. The marshals learned to pack those shells full of fire. The city, its riches nothing but fragments now. The sanctuary, if we can build, we can rebuild. The mercy. The windbags ain't the only beast that drew a bad lot. The Ura swooped down from the east. At least now we know the way.